Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very well today. Today, we've got a preview of the Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolverhampton Wanderers match at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 8 p.m. kickoff UK time tomorrow evening. It is on telly. It is the prime time game, sort of, but we will bring you all of the latest on the game, Thomas Frank's quotes, what he's had to say about it, our predicted lineups, and also a little bit about Wolves and who we could expect to be maybe a little bit of a danger. But it's been so long since we've gone live, maybe 3 whole days. It's crazy. I've actually forgotten to plug in my mic, so I'll be doing that in just a minute. But before I do, we're going to welcome in Thomas Frank's AI son, Frank Thomas. How are you doing today, mate?
I'm all good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. It was a strange old game on Wednesday night. It was quite dull. A good win, but quite dull. And as I said in the video, I was there and managed to miss all 3 goals. So I'm hoping that tomorrow night I'll be there. I'll see some goals. Hopefully Tottenham goals. And
how have you managed to miss all the goals? What were you doing? You just in the bar drinking or something?
No, I was 10 minutes late because the traffic was bad. So I missed the Paulinho goal. And then I got to my seat and someone was sat in my seat. And as I was talking to him, the second goal went in. And then I left in like the 88th minute just to get home. And we obviously scored in the 93rd. So I managed to miss all 3 goals. So hopefully tomorrow night, some Tottenham goals and hopefully a more enjoyable game of football on the eye.
Impressive, mate. Impressive stuff. I am back on my mic now like a proper YouTuber, like a proper podcaster. But guys, hope you're all doing well. Make sure you're doing the usual when you come in. If you're watching offline, great. If you're watching live, even better. Make sure you're hitting the like button, please, guys. That really does help us out massively. Turn on the notification bell down below. It is free to do so. And of course, subscribe if you are new to Spurs Related. We're really grinding out the content lately. Pretty much every single day there's a video. So if you never want to miss the video, please make sure you're hitting the like button. Please make sure you're subscribing and please turn on the notification bell. You guys seem to enjoy some of the offline videos, the tactical breakdowns, the analysis type videos. So let us know if you are still enjoying them. We've got Martin Hawthorne in the building saying better do. We better beat Wolves. I'm working the weekend. I hate them 6 a.m. starts even more when Tottenham lose at the weekend, mate. For your sake, Martin, and that 6 a.m. wake-up call, mate, I hope you are going to be seeing a Tottenham Hotspur win tomorrow night. We've got Iron Army, of course, in here. What a legend. My first time in a live ever since moving to my uni dorm. Class stuff, mate. Let us know where you are doing your uni studies and hope that's all going well for you, my friends. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat. But Frank, we'll get into things, and as the numbers grow, we'll get more interactions going with the chat. Get your 1s and 2s in the chat when I say so, guys. And of course, please keep supporting the channel. But here we go. Thomas Frank is saying that Randall Kolo Muani will miss a few more days due to his dead leg injury. Now, that is frustrating, Frank. It's frustrating that we signed him. We're hopefully, we thought we were seeing, what could be our starting striker, given the fact that Richarlison hasn't been amazing since like the start of the 2 games, given the fact that Solanke's injured. We're kind of crying out for another number 9, and Kolo Muani coming in, it kind of was quite exciting. And then the fact that he's now not available, it seems like, I think I saw a stat, or you told me the stat, that he's now been injured at Tottenham longer than he has in his whole career. I mean, what are we doing, Frank? What's going on here?
I think sadly we're doing what we do all the time, in that we have players that, don't seem to have any problems, and then they come to Dr. Tottenham and they never walk again. So yeah, that seems to be the usual. It's really frustrating. And I still think he's a long way off like match fitness anyway, whether this injury has helped or not. Obviously it hasn't, but like that cameo when he came on against Villarreal, and I'm not digging him out, but he was awful for 10-15 minutes. He looked, and not in a I don't think he's a good player way. He just looked like he hadn't played football in months, and he hasn't. But that's how it looks, and so he's still a long way off. I think, and that's kind of frustrating for a guy who you've got on a 1-year loan deal, and I think it kind of just proves the idea that it was a panic. Whether I think he's a good player, and I think he is a good player, and I think he will be a good player. But it does feel sort of a panic sort of signing, given that now we're talking we are going into October, and he's played 10 minutes for Tottenham. We signed him a month ago.
Yeah, not good, mate. And like you said, that cameo was was awful, wasn't it? It was absolutely terrible. But yeah, as you guys are just joined, I can see the numbers are growing. Rana Colomani will miss a few more days due to a dead leg injury. I'm gonna go back to the chat. I'm gonna catch up. Ayanami's saying he's at Portsmouth. Nice, not too far from me, mate. I hope to watch some games, especially since Yang is on loan there. Nice stuff, man. Nice stuff. I didn't actually realize. I didn't realize you were UK based. That's terrible, me. Gons Football and Things. Great name, great profile picture. He's saying big game tomorrow, but I do see us having a really good game and getting 3 points. Simmons is going to score a banger. Big up James Frank in the chat. COYS. Big up yourself, mate. And I hope you are right. I hope Javi Simmons does have a worldie of a game, of course. But big up, mate. Thanks for joining. Always great, no matter the numbers, guys. I love reading the chat. So if you are in the chat, if you are watching, please do let us know. I love to talk to you guys. A&M saying this is probably the longest I've ever seen a dead leg last for any player. Absolutely. And we've got John Stokes in the building. Big up, John. He's saying evening, James and Frank. John, I hope you are doing very well and avoiding illnesses like I've got at the moment, which is an annoying cold or COVID thing. I don't even know what it is, but I'm hoping to shrug it off because, do you know what would make it better? 3 points tomorrow, Frank. 3 points tomorrow. But we will get into the next talking point, which is Thomas Frank on how high Lucas Bergvall's talent ceiling is. And he's saying, hopefully as high as possible. My job with the coaches is to maximize his potential. And that's my most important task. With Lucas, he's in a really good flow right now. And then, is this a separate point? This is a separate point. But yeah, on this, Frank, pretty stating the obvious, really. But, in terms of Lucas Bergvall's ceiling, maybe, guys, this is the first interaction piece. How good do you guys actually think Bergvall is? Because I don't think he had a great game against Brighton. I've got to be honest. I think it was probably his worst performance for a little while, Frank. I'm sure you may agree. But where are we at with Lucas Bergvall? He's 19 years old. He's nowhere near his prime yet. We're like arguably 8 years off his prime. And he's playing so ahead of his years. Where do you think he actually is right now? Do you think he's like 2, 3, 4 years like away from being like world class, or do we need to take a step back and be like, this is a very talented kid, let's not put too much pressure on him? Where are you at, Frank? Do you think he's good enough to play for a Barcelona in like 12 months? Like, where are we at?
I think he's good enough to play for anyone in the world now, and I really mean that. I genuinely, obviously Kane especially was a different breed of player. Son was unbelievable for a good period of time. I think this is the best talent I've seen at Tottenham in terms of a young one coming through since Delhi. I think he's unbelievable, and he has it all, and that's what's quite exciting. That because we don't really know what he is in terms of can he play as a 6, can he play as an 8, a 10, or whatever. He can do all three. He's a bit like when sort of Gerrard was young at Liverpool, and they kind of had him. Not that I was there to experience that, but that sort of comparison that they had all three sort of roles could be sort of assigned to him. And I think he's very similar to that. I would be, unless Tottenham end up becoming a superpower to the point where like we're competing every year and winning things consistently, I would be absolutely staggered if he doesn't end up playing for Real Madrid. Absolutely staggered. And that's the biggest compliment you can pay him, because he's unbelievable, and he's one of the best players I've seen at Tottenham in a long time.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. Exactly that. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you think Lucas Bergvall's level is right now? Let us know in the comments offline. If you're watching on repeat, of course, please pop your comments in on Lucas Bergvall, because he is an absolutely exceptional player, of course. John Stokes is saying flued up as well. It's just a nightmare, isn't it? It's a nightmare. Very, very talented player. No wonder Barcelona were competing with us for him, and we got him since I imagine we could offer more stability. He will be world class in several years. Well, the way Frank's talking, he could be world class very soon, or now. You're saying he could play for anyone, Frank. I mean, does that put him in that bracket? Let's not go there. Let's not maybe hype him up before it's like I guess like consistently, on a consistent basis. But then again, he was one of our best players last season, wasn't he? So there we go. Not Brett May is finally saying hilarious in the chat. Big up, not Brett May. I would love to know what is funny. Maybe you don't agree with the Bergvall thing. I'm always up for a debate, mate. Always up for a debate. Gons Football is saying for me, Bergvall will be world class, not next season, but the season after. Fair enough. Well, we will move on. Not Brett May is saying Spurs will lose at the weekend. Listen, mate, if you're right, I'll come on here and congratulate you, right? But we have to talk about Wolves, and we will be talking about Wolves in just a moment. You find Spurs hilarious. Just out of interest, where I'm not going to give you too much attention considering you're not a Spurs fan, but who do you support? Let us know in the chat. John Stokes is saying Bergvall is an 8 out of 10 player for me. Absolutely love it. Guys, we're going to move on to talking about Thomas Frank being asked about if it's strange coming to Spurs at a time of change with 3 rejected takeover approaches. And of course, we have to talk about the one today that was apparently rejected. And he's saying approaches after being a stable Brentford for years. He's saying, I am to start with very stable. Daniel Levy had been there 25 years, and then change came. I didn't expect that. He goes on to say, since then, the Lewis family has been very good, very transparent that the club is not for sale. For me personally, I feel in a very stable environment. Frank, what do you make of this, mate? What do you make of this? Of course, there is a lot of talks about the club being sold. Spurs coming out, very adamantly today and saying that it's not for sale. We'll bring that up on screen as well, because we've got to talk about that. What do you make of this? Do you find it a bit unsettling, or do you think it's exciting? What do you think?
It's exciting. I mean, the guy that that's been linked to it today, I can't remember his name. It's something Eric, Brooklyn Eric, I think. Who is, I was reading about his career, is quite incredible. I saw someone sort of say he's like the Archie Gray of entrepreneurs, and that he basically does everything that you don't expect him to do in all these different sort of areas. He was a DJ, then he worked for NASA, and now he's a tech entrepreneur, right? So it's been a hell of a career, and I'm not really sure he's at this point. But then he sort of put that thing up on Instagram earlier on of the countdown, which takes you to the deadline of selling the club, apparently, if Spurs are going to sell it.
Right.
I imagine sort of messing with some people, but it's exciting. I mean, the numbers they were talking of 1.2 billion to spend on players and things is very exciting.
Of course, yeah.
Whether or not it happens, I'm not sure. I think the club will be sold. I still am adamant on that. I think that they will sell it. If you want to sell something, you don't go around telling everyone you want to sell it because the price drops. So I think they will sell it. I just don't know whether that be in the next 2 months, in the next 6 months, the next 3 years. But I think in the next 2 or 3 years, I think they'll be under new ownership. I don't know when in that 2 or 3 years, but I think it will happen.
Sure, it'd be interesting to see, how this does plan out. And guys, let us know in the comments below if you do think that Spurs will be sold in the near future. Do you believe, Enoch, that we're not for sale? I mean, I don't believe that. I think we're definitely up for sale. There's definitely movement going on. Logan's in here saying, good evening, lads. Hope we're both well. Logan, hope you're doing well as well, my friend. And Ian Ami saying, I think there's a firm stance on the team not being for sale, suggesting there's a clear long-term plan, which in my eyes is you could look at it either way, couldn't you? It's like, well, if we are, with these new, fresh sort of ideas and, I guess a new standpoint with the ownership, with the Vivian Lewis being involved and, Charrington being more involved and Vinay being more involved, is that a better direction for the club rather than just Daniel Levy? Or you could look at it in positives on both ways, couldn't you, Frank, really?
Yeah, exactly. As I say, I don't think that the Lewis family are going to all of a sudden change because they've been the same for the last 25 years. So I don't see what all of a sudden they've gone, actually, times have got to change now. I don't think that happens. I just think they're probably putting out a lot of noise and a lot of just to try and protect the value of the club. And I think they'll sell it pretty soon, would be my guess. But I'm also not in a position of knowledge, so I can't say.
Sure. We'll keep an eye on it. Frank. We'll see what happens. We will move on. We will come back talking about the bid at some point in terms of the club apparently rejecting a bid today. But this is on Thomas Frank on Dominic Solanke's continued absence. He's saying it's not perfect, but we are going forward in the right direction. Bit of a concern on Dom Solanke. I mean, he did come in against PSG in the Super Cup, kind of ran around for a bit, didn't look great. I think he may have played one more game. And then, of course, since then, he's kind of been injured, not involved. What do you make on this, mate? Because I'm getting a bit concerned that this might be sort of another month or two by the way it's going. What do you think?
I'm just getting annoyed by it, to be honest. I think we're just kind of being lied to the whole time, and it annoys me. And it's something kind of never really changed. That, and I'm not blaming Thomas Frank at all. I'm just kind of frustrated by the fact that we got told he'd be back after the international break. In 9 days' time, we'll be going ahead into another international break. And we haven't seen him still. I don't understand, and we don't know it. It's just we're in the right direction. We're going. Does that mean it's going to be a month? Does that mean it's going to be back next week? I thought he'd be back tomorrow. Sorry. I'm really confused at what's going on. I think we're kind of just constantly strung along and not actually told the truth, and that as fans that give so much time and financially contribute as well so much to the club. It would be nice to sometimes know that when you go to these games and you watch these games and you spend all this time doing this and this money sort of contributing to that you're actually going to watch the best players and the players you want to watch, and not just if he had a serious injury and they go he's going to be out for 3 months, you go fine, but stop telling us that he's going to be back next week or he's on the right direction. That's starting to annoy me a little bit now, I have to be honest.
Do you think they do that to deflect the pressure on the fact that maybe they should have signed more attacking players in the summer, and the fact that they signed Colin Moani, who clearly came in with an injury, and the fact Solanke's injured, and therefore you technically only have one number 9 in Richarlison and maybe 2 in Dane Scarlett? I mean, it's not really enough for a team that's playing in 4 competitions competitively, and with international breaks, it doesn't add up for me.
It doesn't. And when you look at the personnel as well that you've got, Colin Moani hadn't played a game since June time, right? June, start of July. So he was never going to be fully fit to come in straight away. And he's on a 1-year loan. It's not like you're buying him for 5 years. He's on a 1-year loan. So you need someone, if you're going to sign a player on loan for a year, to come in and make an instant impact. He was never going to do that. I think he'll be a good player. He was never going to make an instant impact. So that's in itself is confusing. Richarlison and Solanke have both had their fair share of injury problems. They're both players that you can't rely on for fitness constantly. And they're both sort of as bad as each other in that respect. And then you're left with Dane Scarlett. So I mean, you could play Johnson there, but then you're making do. You play Tell there. It's poor. It's poor management. It's negligence of the team as per. I just wish we were not sort of strung along and made to believe things that aren't true. And I think I wish 2 that they would actually plan better, because I think they've planned horribly wrong.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Spurs are playing Arsenal on the 23rd of November. The guy in the chat asking, that is our first North London derby away at the Emirates. I'm going to catch up on the chat, and then Frank will get into the next point. Guys, let us know what you think on Dom Solanke. Do you think it's going to be a little while longer? Let us know in the comments below. Where are we at? In terms of? In fact, I'll come back to the chat. And we'll get on to the next point. Thomas Frank on Facing Wolves. This is a team the last 5 times we haven't been able to beat. We need to come out flying out, be ready for it, have the fans behind us. They need to back us in every second of the game. I am confident we will perform. So he's really, trying to get the fans on board. I think that maybe that's a slight, not a dig, but I think that's that highlights maybe the fact that he probably thought the atmosphere the other day was terrible. Not just at a Doncaster game, which is expected a lower turnout, but I thought the atmosphere at the Villarreal game was one of the worst atmospheres I've certainly seen. I don't think it was very good at all. And so, with it being an 8 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday, should be a bit more buzzy, but then again, could maybe be flat. People are probably half asleep by then, or half drunk. I don't know. I mean, let's see. But it's certainly a point. Getting the fans behind us. They need to be back us in every second of the game. I'm confident we will perform. And he's made a good point. We haven't beaten Wolves for ages, mate. We have a terrible, terrible record against them. I'd say they're one of our bogey teams. We'll bring the head-to-head record up in a minute. But in better news, Pape Matar is available to face Wolves after missing the Doncaster match. Solanke, as we just said, remains unavailable. And Pape Matar, do you expect him to start, mate?
No, I don't think he'll start. I think it will be the same midfield that started. No, I don't. I take that back. I think it'll be Bergvall in midfield with Paulinho and Bentancur I think that makes the most sense for tomorrow night. So yeah, that's what I think. I think Sarr will come on and hopefully make a good impact. But no, I think it'll be those three midfield.
Interesting stuff, mate. Interesting stuff. So this is from Alistair Gold. He said, from someone close to the Lewis family on the new Spurs takeover, this is unsolicited and unnecessary interest. Does nothing to change the family's resolve and commitment to do whatever it takes to drive success on the pitch. The club is not for sale. Just quickly jumping back to the whole thing about the club being for sale or whether it's not for sale or not. Would you make of this, mate? The fact that someone close to the Lewis family is saying that there is unsolicited and unnecessary interest, and that has nothing to do with the change of the sort of situation.
I think it's rubbish. It is the sort of the most honest thing I can say. I really don't buy this idea that all of a sudden it's just clicked and they've gone, actually, we got to start spending some money. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't believe that his kids and nephew and whatever are all of a sudden, massive Spurs fans and want to do everything they can to help the club. And I don't believe that I don't believe any of it, actually. I think it's all nonsense. And I think it's all just a PR stunt to sell the club. It is my honest opinion, because I don't get what would have changed in the last 3 months even to all of a sudden them go, oh, we have to really drive success. And if they really wanted to drive success, then they would have done that this summer. And they didn't in large parts of it. They still left us short. They were still pretty poor in certain moments during this summer. So yeah, I don't believe it personally.
We'll have to see what's going on, guys. What do you make of the takeover? We'll bring you the latest news on that. I think we have one more point to mention, and we'll come back to the takeover, Frank. We'll come back to the takeover, but a bit of transfer news in September for you guys that Frank's picked out here. This is according to Spurs Journo. This is from the Spurs ITK Hub. So make of it what you will. But apparently Spurs are interested in Coyote from Brentford. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. I don't know much about this guy, other than the fact that he's 21 years old. He's a right back for Brentford. In terms of how many times he's played for Brentford, he's only played 5 times. Well, this year he's played 5 times. Last year he played 12 times in the Premier League. So I think he's very much come into this Brentford lineup very recently. What do you make of this, mate?
I think it's brilliant. He was one I wanted. He was one I wanted before he went to Brentford, and I was a little bit disappointed that he went to Brentford at the time. He was at Fiorentina, and he was pretty good. And so I imagine this is sort of a Paratici sort of influence, but also the influence of Thomas Frank, because Thomas Frank bought him in January. Thomas Frank bought him sort of 9 months ago. He's quick, he's strong, he's defensively good, he can go forward. He's got an absolutely unbelievable long throw, which kind of adds to the fun of it. And I think we need a fullback desperately. I think we really desperately need a fullback. Whether or not Brentford sell this early after having him for, as I say, 9 months, I think it's unlikely. But all in all, I'd be very, very pleased if they got that deal done.
How much do you reckon he'd cost?
I think it'd probably cost you 40 to 50.
50?
Yeah,
really?
They bought him for like 25 9 months ago. Since then, he's on a longer contract, played in the Premier League. I think he's going to cost you too much, but it would be a good deal. So I think they need another fullback, because at the moment they've got 3, and that isn't sustainable at all.
Blimey. Yeah, I mean, having Spence, Porro and Udogie is not enough, is it? It's not enough. We've discussed this before. But guys, let us know what you think on Coyote. Michael Coyote, Italian professional that plays right back for Brentford, 21 years old. Let us know what you think on that link. Do you think that one will hot up a little bit more? But in terms of the takeover, mate, we'll go back to talking about this, because I know a lot of people want to talk about it. I just want to see what Logan's saying about, he said, seeing people in other streams, we get so many injuries because of the training pitch. It's hard to know, isn't it? It could be a mix of that, our medical team, bringing players back too soon. And he's also asking, does Tell get another chance this weekend? I think he will come off the bench. What do you think, Frank?
Sorry, can I just very quickly go back to the one about the training pitch a minute ago?
Go on.
And this is not to drop in any big curveball, but having once in my life played there, I find it hard to believe that that's the reason they get injured, because those pitches are unbelievable.
Yeah.
They are literally like carpets. So I would be staggered if that's the reason, personally. But then, as I say, I haven't seen it all, but I would suspect that they are too good for players for that to be the reason. It's either going to be the methods or the staff they have in behind.
Interesting. Well,
Until I think it wouldn't shock me if he started. I don't think he will start, but it wouldn't shock me if he started. I think he's probably the most likely to start of him and Odobert.
Okay, interesting stuff. Let us know what you guys think on that one as well. But guys, quick one before we go into the next bit about the takeover. Please. I know there's a few of you watching on YouTube and Twitter, a couple of you on Facebook as well. If you're watching on replay as well and are watching live, please do me 3 massive favors. Make sure you're hitting the like button down below. It does help us out massively. It does help us reach new audiences. Of course, we are trying super hard to grow this at the moment, and I hope you guys are enjoying the live shows. So please show your support. Turn on the notification bell as well, because you never miss us going live. I'm sure a lot of you guys come to these streams from the notifications that go out. So please do make sure you're hitting the notification bell down below. Also free to do so. And this one as well is free. It's just to subscribe. So please do keep supporting the channel. But Frank, we are going to talk about the takeover bid from a tech entrepreneur, Brooklyn Eric. Spurs unequivocally rejected the US-based consortium and bids his third expression of interest since Levy exit. So, like you said, 3 bids have happened. Tottenham have rejected the takeover interest from a United States-based consortium led by the tech entrepreneur Brooklyn Eric. The club have undergone significant changes at boardroom level this year, the most dramatic being, of course, Levy's departure at the beginning of this month. Levy was moved aside by the Lewis family, the ultimate owners, who have put a leadership team in place featuring Vinay as the chief executive and Peter Charrington as the non-executive chair. Spurs have been stalked by takeover talk for a long time, and Levy's ousting intensified it, with 2 groups making moves for control. One was, of course, Amanda Stavley, as we've discussed before on this channel, and the other are consortium investors led by Dr. Roger Kennedy and Wing Fi NG through Firehawk Holdings Limited. The club rejected both, with sources close to Lewis family insisting that the club were not for sale. It goes on to say Eric and his backers have tried to muscle in, and they've been given the same message. A Lewis family source said this unsolicited and unnecessary interest does nothing to change the family's resolve and commitment to do whatever it takes to drive success on the pitch. The club is not for sale. And then finally, Vivian and Charles Lewis, the children, have assumed greater influence and prominence since Levy's exit. They are open to fresh investment, which is needed to drive the club's very plans to expand the business, but their position is that a full sale is not a possibility. Before we go any further, Frank, what do you make of the fact that there's been 3 rejected bids now on this matter?
I think they're trying to really stick to their guns, and they won't sell it and whatever. I think they're probably just finding the right sale, the right money, the right buyer, the right everything. And I think it's such a big legal process that, it's not just a matter of, we want to buy it. Like you go to Sainsbury's and buy something, you exchange money and it's done. It's such a big amount of money. Like we're talking, I saw the bid they were talking was 4.5 billion, 3.5, which is 3.3, sorry, which is for the club itself. So, and they want total control, and so there'll be a lot of negotiations going on. They will be talking. They will keep putting this noise out that they don't want to sell it. Whilst that's the case, I would be very surprised if the club's not sold. And that's, again, also, I mean, we heard a lot of rumours at the start of June time that Daniel Levy was possibly going to go. I mean, we saw all these people saying they knew stuff, whatever. All these people going, he's going to go. They're going to look to sell the club, blah, blah. Well, part of that has happened. So I imagine that noise was probably correct. And then that will end up happening. So, yeah, I think the club will be sold. I don't really buy into a lot of what's being said. I think a lot of it's noise to protect the value, and I think it could end up being quite an exciting time for Tottenham.
Absolutely excited, guys. Let us know in the chat if you're excited by a potential takeover. Of course, these are being rejected, but perhaps they are waiting for the right price. Just a bit more on this. Eric's interest in Spurs. He posted screen grabs of its coverage on Friday, noting on his Instagram story that it had been a pretty low-key morning so far. On X, he wrote, due to all the press speculation, my legal counsel has advised me to clarify the situation. Unfortunately, I will not be DJing an absolute banger of a drum and bass set at the Ministry of Sound tomorrow. What a joker. What a joker, Frank. Spurs are obliged to issue a statement to the London Stock Exchange. They said the board of Tottenham Hotspur is aware of recent media speculation and confirms that its majority shareholder, Enix Sports and Development Holdings, has received an unequivocally rejected an informal expression of interest in relation to a proposal to acquire the entire issued and to be issued share capital of the club from a consortium led by Mr. Brooklyn Eric. This guy seems so just to clarify, he's a DJ and he's just got loads of money.
Yeah, it's so I was doing some sort of reading on it. So the guy who wrote the article last night, he was working for the Sun, which so obviously is a bit. But it was Martin Lipton, who I'm pretty sure is a Spurs fan. Who wrote the original article saying this was the case. And so there's probably something to believe in that, being that he's a Spurs fan. But there's but the Sun on the flip side. But I mean, this guy he was, as I say, he was a DJ. Then he worked for NASA.
Right.
And then he's had a strange old career. I guess owning a football club in the Premier League is kind of the cherry on top of it all, right? So
NASA DJing and then potential Spurs. Yeah,
that's
crazy. I'd just like to know, like, what. Anyway, I don't know how these people get this money. Anyway, the board of the club and ENIC reconfirm that Tottenham Hotspur is not for sale, and ENIC is not looking to sell its stake in the club. And then finally, in accordance with the obligations under Rule 2.6a of the City Code, the consortium is required by no later than 5 p.m. on 24th of October to either announce a firm intention to make an offer for the company in accordance with Rule 2.7 of the City Code, or announce that it does not intend to make an offer for the company. Eric was the frontman for a consortium that attempted to buy the Maserati MSG Formula E team in March, only for it to collapse. I do remember that. Very interesting. So this guy's desperate to get involved in the sport world, other than the fact that he's involved in NASA and God knows what else. Andy, love the picture of your dog there. He's saying they have offered 20% more than the highest valuation. If they don't sell, they better spend on the football. Big up, lads. Big up to you, Andy. And I completely agree. If they don't sell, they've got to put their money in there. They've got to put their hand in their pocket in January and go out and, seriously say that this whole change of ownership and everything, this change of, whatever they want to frame it as, like a clean slate, they need to start doing things a little bit differently than they have in other transfer windows where, yes, we got somewhere in the summer, didn't we, Frank? But it's clearly not been enough. But anyway, that's enough about the investment, guys. Let us know if you want to have more details on that, and we'll do an offline video, or maybe we'll do another stream on this, Frank, when maybe more details come out. Guys, we're going to do the final 10 minutes. We're going to talk about the game tomorrow in a bit more detail. We've given you the team news. We've given you the Thomas Frank quotes. What we're going to do now is look at the head-to-head records between Tottenham and Wolves to start with. And while I'm doing that, Frank is going to get up the predicted sort of lineups. But in terms of the head-to-heads, guys, we have not got a good head-to-head against Wolves. It's been absolutely shocking. Oh, you've killed me, Frank. You've killed me.
We're all good.
I was just getting it up on the side. But it's not been good. It's not been good. We haven't actually beaten Wolves since 2022, I think. I'm just going to double check.
I can't believe that when I saw
that. It's crazy. Here we go. Sorry. Remove that. One sec. I've got to remove you again, Frank. So here we go. So head-to-head record, guys. Wolves, Tottenham last season, 4-2. Well, this was under Ange. This was just absolutely shocking. I mean, a month and a half later, we won the Europa League, so who cares? Then it was 2-2, sort of this time last year at the Tottenham Stadium. Then we lost 2-1 in 2024. We lost 2-1 at Wolves in 2023. We lost 1-0 at Wolves earlier that year. Here we go. This is the last time we beat them. This is the last time we beat them, guys. When Harry Kane was still at the club, we won 1-0 in. So the last time we beat them, Frank, was 3 years and a month ago.
I mean that's insane. I couldn't quite believe that. I mean, we should have beaten them last year. We battered them, and they equalised right at the end with Strand Larsen. And then what was the score when we played away at Wolves last year? Oh, it was the one right before before like the Frankfurt game, just after the Frankfurt game.
Yeah,
we were dreadful. I'm trying to think about the other ones before. We've always had quite a bad record against them. Even before that, I remember being 2-1 up. Bergvall scored, and we lost 3-2 at home. I remember winning there though, with the Tongans scoring a header in the last minute. That's the one that sticks in my mind.
Yeah, that was 2021. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
That's an awful record.
That was Dele Alli 1-0.
Yeah, that was Nuno. So it must have been the year before, 1920, I reckon, 2021.
Yeah. Was it 1-0 when Vertonghen scored?
No, it was 2-1 at Wolves. I think Mora
2-1 at
scored
Wolves.
as well.
Yeah, 2019. Yep.
Dharma Traore, I
2019.
remember. Yeah, that was.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dare I ask for your score prediction in a minute, Frank? Guys, get your score predictions in the chat now. Pop them in the chat. And guys, while you're putting them in the chat, your score predictions, please make sure I know I've already asked, but please make sure you're hitting the like button, turning on the notification bell, and subscribing, because the numbers are a little bit lower than normal today. And I think, with it being the end of the week, Friday, people are at the pub. So if you're watching a repeat, get your score predictions in the comments below as well. Make sure you're hitting the like, notification, subscribing. But Frank, I'm going to come to your score prediction in a minute. We're just going to have a little look at the potential lineups. And guys, we've got some new fancy technology for you. We've invested in a little bit of James Lawrence Alcott's tactical board, which we've paid a fee for, which is pretty good, isn't it, Frank? You did a video on it the other day. But hopefully you guys enjoy this new tactics board. I feel like I'm on Monday Night Football now, mate. I'm going to hand over to Jamie Carragher. I hope you don't mind that comparison.
I'll take that.
What are you saying then, mate? So you think that we're just calling Van der Ven now? Love it.
Van der Ven, it does it automatically. You can't change it, and so
weird,
it's quite frustrating. Yeah.
Anyway, Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Kudus, Palhinha, Bentinker, then Simmons, Bergvall, Kudus, Richarlison. I think this is pretty much spot on. I agree with you. And then obviously we'll look at the Wolves lineup in a minute and maybe identify some players that could be a problem. I identify their midfielder there, Gomez, who we were linked with in the summer. I also identify their relatively new striker, Brun Larsen, who's a bit of a handful at times. But of course, Wolves are on 0 points, mate. We have to highlight that Wolves are on 0 points coming into this game. Tottenham are currently sitting in third, sorry. I don't know why I said sixth. It's because I was on 2019's table. But we're currently in sixth. So, all looking pretty rosy in sixth with 10 points from 15, and they are on 0 points from 15. So, Dr. Tottenham have anything to play by. That will change. Andy going for a 3-0 Spurs. Sorry, I hope you mean 3-0 Spurs. I hope we're at home, Andy. But anyway, sorry, Frank, blabbing on. Talk to me about the lineup, mate. What do you expect tomorrow?
Yeah, so I would be. There's the little player highlight. I like doing this. I think Udogie will come in. He obviously played against Brighton the other day, and then they left him out in the week. I think Udogie will start just because I think he played really well against Brighton, and I didn't think Gents had a great game against Doncaster either. I think it makes the most sense personally. I think that you want to overload sides as well down the lines that have the play five at the back, and I think doing that, Udogie is more of a wing back that will overlap. So I think that probably makes more sense. Same with obviously Pedro Porro. The back three in Vicario, Romero, Van der Ven, very self-explanatory. I think these two, some would argue maybe isn't the right game. I think it probably is. I think they should start together tomorrow. Don't think Sar's fit enough. You could argue maybe Archie Gray could be in contention. I thought he played really well against Doncaster, but I'm not convinced he'll start. I think these two will start just because I think he trusts them both, and then I think Bergvall will start just ahead of them. You could obviously argue that Xavi Simons could start in that role as well, and maybe you see instead of Bergvall, you see someone of the ilk of Till or someone like that. But my hunch is that he'll play Bergvall in the 10 and Xavi Simons on the left, because I think playing them on the left as well gives them a little bit of freedom, a little bit more freedom. Playing in the middle in the Premier League against when you're playing five at the back and a few older midfielders, it is difficult. He obviously was great when he played there against Brighton the other day, but my hunch is that he'll start him there. Kudus will obviously come back into it. Obviously didn't play in the week, which was good, but he will come back into it. He needed a rest, and so hopefully he will be on it tomorrow. And then, to my sheer disappointment, I think Richarlison will start up front, because I think we don't really have anyone else currently, unless you were to play Atel, who I think his movement is far better than Richarlison. I just think his finishing is considerably worse at the moment. But I think Richarlison will probably start that game, and then we will see the likes an Odobert Tell and Pape Sarr hopefully make an impact off the bench, after 60 odd minutes.
Absolutely, mate. The only thing I would say is bring you up on is the Benton and Palhinha thing, because we did identify it as a bit of a problem against Brighton. What is it you think that makes Wolves a more suitable team to play those two alongside each other?
I think there's some Wolves are going to sit in. Wolves are going to sit in. They're going to try and break you. They're going to try and break you just mentally by sitting in this block, and then they'll try and spring you. And I think, you could argue on one side that having players like Palhinha and Bentancur in those sort of games, might not be the best thing in the world. But you could argue on the flip side, because they can't break you down, maybe. But you could argue on the flip side that Bournemouth pressed you very high, and Palhinha is not one to play out of that press. And you need someone with energy in those sorts of games. In these games, when you have a lot of the ball, I think those two are all right, because then when you lose the ball and they counter you and they go at you with pace, you've got these two as cover. So I think they will start. I think they will both start. It wouldn't shock me on the flip side if Sarr is fit enough completely, if only one of them started, and it was Bergvall and Sarr. But my hunch is that they will start together to prevent sort of counter attacks.
Interesting, mate. Interesting stuff. Any more sort of tactical points on what you may expect from Wolves going forwards? Who could be the threats if you think we're going to concede? Well, firstly, what's your score prediction?
I think we'll win. I think we'll win 2-0. I think it'll be quite a dull sort of game, but I think we'll get through it. I think we'll be the much better side. I think we'll have too much quality for them, and I think we'll beat them 2-0.
Okay, so that doesn't really help my next question. I was going to say, if you think we're going to concede, who do you think it could be? But who do you think could be our threats then?
There's certainly threats. Larson is obviously a good player. Obviously, he went to Newcastle, and he is a threat in the air. He's a threat. He's a good finisher. He scored a great goal against us in the 2-2 last year. He's a really good player. John Arias was one of, if not the best player at the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
In the summer, he was a great buy, and one that is a threat himself. Marshall Manetzi's brilliant. I really like Manetzi. He's been in and around my fantasy team a few times since he joined Wolves last year. So he's one I like. Gomez, we spoke about, obviously coming to Tottenham, and he's one I've said I'd really like at Tottenham. I think defensively he's fantastic. I think he's a really top player. And Krejci, I want to say, scored his first goal in their defeat to Leeds last year. I think he came from Slavia Prague. He's been a good player. Gomez, I know very little about, I'll be very honest. And Chatatua came from, I think it was Hellas Verona in Italy, and is pretty new to their side this summer. So maybe he's going to be a bit of a weaker link in sort of, and that's where maybe Xavi Simons and Udogie as a sort of partnership could work quite well, I think, down that side. I'm obviously also yet to see that as a partnership, Udogie and Simons on the left. So that I'm quite looking forward to, and I hope that's the case. And then at the back, I know they've had the ump with Jose Sarr a bit this season. I know he's made a couple of mistakes and things, and they're getting a little bit frustrated. I think Agbadou's probably the best of their back three. I like him a lot. I think he's solid. He's good in the air. He's a pretty good passer of the ball as well. So they've certainly got threats. They've certainly got a better side than maybe we give them credit for, because they've lost 5 from 5. But if Tottenham are serious about competing this season, then they need to be winning games like this.
Sure. All makes sense, mate. I wanted to just quickly look if that their new striker is available. And also, do you not think Hwang Hee-chan might be a part of this? I think he might play, and wait, Hwang Hee-chan, hang on.
He didn't come on at all against Leeds last week, and he played 70 odd minutes in the cup in the week. So
correct,
could well he'll be a part of it, I imagine.
Why, has he been injured?
I don't think so. I think he's fallen a little bit out of favour in kind of what they're doing. I think he hasn't really gone with sort of second strikers. Manetzi and Arias are attacking midfielders, and they play quite narrow, a little bit like United do in that sort of triangle.
What about this other guy? This the striker they've bought. Sorry, I've forgotten his name. Tolu Arakode.
Yeah,
the new Nigerian striker. Has he not done much yet?
He scored, I think, in the week in the Carabao Cup. I'm pretty sure. I mean, listen, there's certainly some players. Andre could play midfield. Jean-Ric Bellegarde could come in as well. But there's certainly players that could come in. But their aim will be to keep with Manetzi and Arias, whereas Hwang Hee-chan likes to drift out wide and whatever. Manetzi and Arias like to sort of stay quite close to the striker, and I think that will allow them to get their fullbacks forward. And I think they will see that with Udogie probably playing so high and Porro playing so high, that could be something where they get space in if I can do that properly, maybe not, but in these sorts of areas here. I really need to learn how to use this properly. But you kind of get the point, right? That they want to get into space in these areas here for the wing backs. And Larson, who's obviously, as I say, very dominant in the air. On the flip side to that, and then sorry, that's why I say that Bentancur and Paulinho, by the way, are then quite important, because they are going to want to spring us with a number of players and intensity.
Sure.
But on the flip side of that, if they get caught out, Udogie, Porro are both going to be quite high up, I would imagine, tomorrow, and hopefully for them, there's enough space and chances to hopefully create and help something get over the line tomorrow night.
Perfect, mate. Great analysis as always. I really enjoyed that new tool. We're going to be using that a lot, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll clip up some of those bits for the offline videos and shorts as well. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. But Wilson's saying we don't need 2 number 6s against Wolves. Put in Sarr for Bentancur. The only thing is Sarr picked up he picked up a knock, didn't he, Frank?
Yeah.
And so maybe he's not ready to. Sorry, mate, go on.
I think it was a groin. I think it was his groin. They said they had, but he'll play a part, I'd imagine, but if he's on the bench. But I don't think he'll be fit enough to really contribute too much tomorrow night.
Sure. Not to curse anything, but my track record of identifying potential banana skins in terms of like opponents that could cause us trouble. My pick for the week in terms of the Wolves players is this guy, this new striker, Tolu Arakader. If I'm going to call anything, mate, I think he's going to score. And I think, look at his record for Genk. I followed him for Genk. 21 goals in 40 appearances. Yes, it's in the Pro League, but listen, we can't ignore that. He's got a decent goal record. In his 194 appearances, he's got 72 goals. It's not bad at all, mate. It's not bad at all. I think he's going to... I got a weird feeling he's going to score, mate. That's my...
I hope not.
That's my prediction, but I've been pretty right on these predictions so far. Not to be smug, but I hope he doesn't score. I hope they don't score at all, but that's who I would pick out as the ones to watch, guys. Let us know if you agree in the comments below. But that is about all we have time for, guys. Before you all click off the video, please do me 4 massive favors. Please make sure you're hitting the like button down below. It is free to do so. Please make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. It's free to do so. And please make sure you're turning on the notification bell down below to never miss a live stream from Spurs Related from myself and Frank, and to never miss an offline video, which we're doing more of as well. The 4th favor I'd love for you all to do is to go and subscribe to THFC Frank, which is now about to be in the comment section, the live chat, and I'll also put it in the comment section if you're watching on repeat. Guys, Frank is, I believe, 4 subscribers off of 300, and he's doing more and more content on his channel now. Please hit that link now. Go and subscribe to Frank. That would be greatly appreciated. Frank does a lot of great work on this channel and on his own channel, so please help him. Share the love. Make sure you're hitting the like button, turn on the notification bell, subscribing if you're new. We will be back tomorrow, probably not after the game because I'm actually going to the game, but probably on Sunday to review the match, break down all the tactics, break down all the analysis, bring up our tactics board, and hopefully discuss a Tottenham Hotspur win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow night. Guys, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe, hit like, notifications on, subscribe to Frank, and we'll see you very, very soon for another video on Spurs Related. Take care, have a good evening, have a good weekend. We'll see you very soon. And remember, come on, you Spurs! Come on.